We on?
You
Good morning. Good morning. What's happening, family? Welcome to the show. It is Michelle Bryant here at WNOV 860 FM 6.5. Want to welcome you to say something real this morning. Apologize for the start of the show. We had a situation outside the station that required that we intervene and try to be a member of the community. And so we again apologize, but there's no way we could have the situation unfold outside of the window and not take an opportunity to try to figure out how to be of help. Let me say good morning to the bros in the studio. What's up, Mr. Rideout? How you doing this morning?
well, woman. I just want to say, first of all, I'm doing well. I'm doing even better now that I witnessed um, the integrity of the station, seeing a member of the community in need, um, and springing into action, and not just allowing it to be like it's just normal. And I just want to salute you for what you just did. That was a hell of a moment to see you take something off of your back to get. I'm almost in tears and I ain't even soft like that. But just the simple fact of seeing you take something off of your back to give to the needy, and then to make sure, man, that she had stuff that she needed. You just never know what kind of luncheon pad that you can give a person that's having a bad day, that don't see hope, that don't, see if, they probably got the mindset, nobody cares, so why should I? And just to see you spring into action when we noticed it, you didn't even question it. You jumped right into it and jumped right into action. And I just want to salute you. I know I'm taking a lot of time from you, but I just want to salute you for that. That was, and even Adibo just finding the resources inside of the building to help was huge, man. And I just want to say, hey, man, that's huge, and I love being a part of this WNW family. Just really care for the people. And I'm gonna get off this mic because and I'm feeling the whole couch moment coming on with me. But
Uh,
Give him a little Kleenex over there,
yeah,
Michelle.
man, I'm over here snuffleupagus. Man, get
Yeah,
my
but certainly we laugh and we joke and we talk, but there's not a more heavier sister in this city. I mean, to watch her take her jacket off
man
her back
something that she paid
and say,
for.
"Sister," and cutting across traffic and you know going in her pocket is it really just speaks to who she really is. Don't think that she just running game on this microphone. She really is that person.
And I seen it for myself.
And I've seen it before across the street over here, this abandoned house. You go over there and bring them food and give them money, and just this it really it's just who she is. She couldn't change it if she wanted to, I'm just grateful again to have her as a teammate here at this radio station, and it's what we're here for. When we say we're the voice, we used to be the source. Well, we're the voice now, but certainly our voice has to speak louder than just voices. You have to see it in our actions, and Michelle, you exemplified that today. So thank you.
Well, I'm gonna say this, Shell. At first, I thought you was going to hell with gasoline
With
draws.
gasoline draws.
Oh man, I mean,
That don't mean she ain't going to hell with gasoline
I don't
draws.
know why.
She's still going to bust that one wide open.
Dude,
What's that?
Satan,
I don't know why.
Satan himself was standing next to rubbing his hands together like, "Come on, Shell." But after that moment that I just witnessed, and that was a real "what would Jesus do" moment.
No, as I said to you before, because you said that earlier, but I just believe that was what would a real African queen in this community that gives a damn would do. Because when you noticed it, and we all looked, And then once she was able to verify it immediately, no questions asked. Yeah, boom, I'm looking up. She gone out the door.
And the music,
her intro music is playing.
She didn't even.
She like, damn that.
Yeah. She
sister,
saw a need.
when she walked out the door, sister, do you need my jacket?
Yeah.
Because you out here.
Hey, but the whole thing about it, Debo, she stood on the island as traffic was coming through
and dressed this woman
and buttoned up the woman's and dressed her and made sure she was
I don't know if you've seen it. I think she thought she was a crossing guard or something. She was telling traffic, you stop.
Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah. And she got over there to her sister and took care of her. So again, I'm done, Jermaine. You go ahead and take up the rest of the time.
Well, Shell, respectfully,
I'm keeping the camera off of her because she's shy.
Yeah, no, but seriously, I'm just floored because, just to have a heart of a servant is huge for me, because when I see stuff and I see people in need. I'm quick to go talk to them, have a conversation with them, try to help as much as I can. And I just think that Sheldon just bought some real estate in heaven.
Well, let me go ahead and start the show. Let me just say this, a couple of things. A couple of people are like, what's going on? What happened? So Jermaine, I typically, and I have been bad about it for a while now at the station, because I typically try not to sit with my back to the window. I sit on an angle so I can see out of our window. But because I so trust the brothers that I work with, I know I don't have to look behind me because they looking. And Jermaine looked up and said, is that sister out here with no shirt on, or something to that effect? And then we all started looking and got up and looked, and there was a sister walking outside with just sweatpants on, some hospital footies. She looked like she had on a hospital wristband, admittance band, and she was completely nude at the top. No bra, no shirt, completely topless. And, and she was walking across the street over by the gas station and seemed disoriented. So, we did what we needed to do to make sure she had something that was covering her, called a family member for her, gave her money so that she could get to a bus to get where she had to go, got her some shoes because she didn't have shoes on. And Debo was like, we got some shoes in the back. And so we got her some shoes on, and Jermaine got her, water, and, thank God to Mary Ellen, who is the snack queen. Salute. Mary Ellen.
Hey, can we get some meat in here though?
No, she ruined all of our physiques.
Man, your physique.
Station manager, Mr. Jones' daughter, and we all, tease her because it's always gonna be something to eat in this station.
Except me.
Except me. Oh wait, unless it's election situation,
right?
Or a birthday,
right?
Yeah. And so and there's many of people that have gotten water out of that refrigerator that we keep out there in that lobby. We have had to take it to people, and chips and food, and so it really is a team effort. So that's what was happening, because people are hitting me up like, what happened? So that's what happened. And since we're talking about the spirit of help, let me just do this real quick because we're already going to be up against our first break. Many folks know that I started talking yesterday about Sister Rose, Miss Rose, who passed away. Lu Hing, a faithful listener to the show, community activist, someone that was extremely engaged, put her time and resources behind the things that she believed in. And her granddaughter, Miss Rose, only had one son. He passed away in 2016. Her granddaughter, who actually lives in another state, is doing everything that they can to be able to help get everything arranged. But this is a 22-year-old granddaughter. And so there will, I'm assuming, be some insurance money, but until death certificate comes in and all those kinds of things, you can't wait on that. You got to go ahead and do what you got to do. And so the family, I had an opportunity to speak with Miss Rose's granddaughter's mother. And so a lot of people have been reaching out, trying to figure out how to be of assistance. So I have been sharing a GoFundMe link. So they are raising money for repass and also trying to get Miss Rose returned to her home city of or her home state of Tennessee. Uh, and so, the cost to have her body transported back back home with the rest of her family. A number of listeners reached out yesterday for the GoFundMe information. I ended up going online. I could see where definitely some of our listeners had begun to make donations. And I had two people call me or one text me. They cash at me $30. I will in turn around and get that to the family. And then Dion, one of our regular, callers, listeners to the station, she said, "Hey, I'm leaving $75 for you at the house. Go pick that up." And so we'll get that cash strapped over to the family. And then when I came in this morning, Debo and Jermaine said, "It's an envelope for you, Michelle, on the counter." And they went and got it. And it said, donation for Miss Rose from Ebony Ice. Ebony Ice is the Black Ski Club here in Wisconsin. And when I opened the envelope this morning, hold it up on screen, they sent $300 for Miss Rose.
Yeah.
And so I texted uh, Miss Rose's former daughter-in-law, the granddaughter's mom, to let her know that this had come in. We got her cash app, personal cash app now. It looks like, I think she sent it to me. Let me look and see. Yep, we got her personal cash app. So now we'll make sure that this money gets cash apped over to them today. So for people that have expressed an interest, I just appreciate everything that everybody is doing and showing up for Miss Rose in this way. And then you actually have the ability to be able to uh, follow and see what's going on the GoFundMe page to see where they are. So far, the family has raised $725 on the GoFundMe page, and it literally lists everybody that wanted to be listed, what their contribution was, their name. One person, their donation was anonymous, but so far 11 people have donated and they have hit $725 with the three here, the 30 I need to transfer 75, they'll be over $1,000 so far. And I'm telling you, these are names from the radio station. When I looked at a lot of the people who are listed, these are our listeners. $20, $25, $20. But these are our listeners that are helping to make this happen. So if it is something that you can do, Shelby, thank you. Shelby just sent me $25 for Miss Rose. I will in turn around and transfer that over to the family. Thank you so much, Shelby. But yeah, these are our listeners that are coming in on behalf of Miss Rose. So I wanted to say that. Let me take a break. For folks that are watching on Facebook, you typically don't see my arms out. I got some big old arms, and you typically don't see them out. And I had my jacket on because that was, that's what I usually have on, longer sleeves. And so I apologize. I'm gonna tell you, always leave the house the way you want to be seen for the day. And I know I don't normally have my arms out. So I was laughing. I said, but I'm gonna throw my jacket on. And now I don't have it.
Hey, but you know what though? It's a reason why.
Yeah, no, that's cool. But I got another one in my car now.
That was one of your favorite jackets too, wasn't it?
You know what? And that's the funny part that you said that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it's a lightweight summer jacket, even though it looks heavy. It's a lightweight summer jacket. Somebody said, "What's up, bra strap?" I can't say
People.
So who was that? That dude?
Is it serious? right there.
T-Ray.
The rock strap was supposed to be shown. Thank you very much, Terrence Ray. I'm getting ready to do my other jacket. All right, family, let's take a quick break. I'll be right back.
Face Real with your host, Bryant.
All right, family, welcome back to the show. So, a couple of quick things before I get into a couple of stories. And we do have Milwaukee County coming in today at 8 o'clock. They plan this abduction of that 7-year-old child they've been showing that video over and over. When I tell y'all, that was the most brazen, ignorant mess I have seen.
Yeah.
Under the jail.
Well,
Under the jail.
Shell, first of all, look at this idiot.
Yeah, we again, they fired shots by the boy's uncle. See? Yeah, as people were trying to find him. So he okay. Yeah,
the guy jumped out the driver's seat while it was driving
and left the car.
Man, these cats is losing their mind. But yeah, as a parent, Shell, that just did something to me. As a parent, seeing that video first of all, seeing that first video that they released and hearing a child scream for help and scream for his dad, not knowing the situation behind it, was devastating because I thought about my grandson. But then when they released this other video, and just as a parent, you're going to have to kill me because I'm not leaving my baby out there for nothing. I'm not leaving him or her out there for nothing. You're going to have to kill me, brother.
That's what, again, that situation just, I just can't wait to find out what it was all about. Why was this child taken? How does this whole thing?
Well, they were saying that they was trying to rob him because they blocked him in when he was coming from the park. So he was driving the car, pulled into the driveway, and the white truck blocked him in. So when he realized what was happening, he jumped out the car because he was trailing his son who was riding his bike from the park up the street.
Okay.
So he was riding in the car as his son was riding in the bike, the bike. So when he pulled into the driveway and the white Jeep blocked in the driveway, he realized and jumped out the car. His son was still riding the bike. So when he jumped out and ran in the house, though, his son kept going
riding
the other way. Yeah, because he saw what was happening.
So they was after the father.
They was after the father.
Okay.
So that's why I was like, the cat that grabbed the child, if that wasn't part of the plan, oh my God.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable, man. There's a lot of this TV stuff. It's a lot of, and then you're gonna try
when
to
the
hold the
father
child for
runs in the
ransom.
house, I'm trying to figure out, like, was you going in to get your gun? Like, what did you go in the house for?
I mean, he didn't come out shooting because the uncle is the one that they got in custody from shooting at the car because he thought that they was coming back to the house.
Well, like I said, it's gonna come out, and we'll hear what all of the gory foolishness is. But also
because that little boy is still in child protective custody.
Yeah,
he's not been returned to them.
So that's even more traumatizing for the 5-year-old, 7-year-old.
So it's more to that story,
and they know it too, and that's why they haven't returned that little boy back.
Yeah, it's more.
Man, that is messed up, man.
All right, let me just say this real quick. And so because the request was made, I'm going to read it. Someone texted, they said, "Morning, Michelle. Thank you for all you do for the community. What you did is who you are. Let me say this, and please say it over the air." So that's the only reason why I'm saying this. Because a person doesn't run to church every time the door is open, you, Michelle, surely did a WWJD. What would Jesus do? And whoever you serve as your higher power saw you in that moment. Well done, my sister. And they went on to say, "I have a bag in my truck that has extra clothing in it, hats, mittens, sweaters. Always put an extra jacket in the car for yourself. Please send, and then please send me Miss Rose's information." So I just sent it to her. Thank you, sis. I see your message. And yeah, I had taken to keeping water in my truck, keeping, a couple of clothing items, because like I said, I've come up on sisters who were outside in their nightgown because they was running from a domestic violence situation and had to put them in my car and get them where they needed to be. So it's just crazy stuff. But I also want to take a moment just again to uplift Ebony Ice, who dropped off the Black Ski Club here in Wisconsin, who dropped off $300 yesterday for Miss Rose. This is a nonprofit themselves, but this is an organization that provides scholarships. Their mission, I'm looking directly on their website: diversify snow sports, spread love for snow sports, and foster a community of adventurers. And so, if you look on their website, they have all kinds of activities. Earlier this year, during when do y'all get that door for Jackie? I think that's her. Earlier this year, back in January, I'm looking at, they had skiing, snowboarding. They had the lessons that were followed by open skis at a party. Um, you could rent everything: your helmet, your poles, your boots. Just it just looks like an incredible opportunity to be engaged and teach our young people. And these pictures that they have on their website of Black children skiing, the best, the absolute just best. When you look at it, students aged 10 to 17 can apply for ski scholarships, which would get them 5 ski lessons. All ski equipment would be provided and lunch. The only thing they don't provide is transportation. But the bless your back, where they go and get the lessons, it's about an hour drive from Milwaukee. So somebody from that family would have to be invested to make sure that these children get there. The kids must attend all the classes when they're held. But I saw when they did it for this year, for 2025, the application deadline was November 20th, 2024. So if this is something you think you might be interested in, make sure that you start monitoring their website. And it is ebonyice.org to see when that next application for scholarships are going to come up. They had 8 scholarships that they did last year. Not sure what they'll do this year, but look at the photos. Black folks skiing, winter sports. They look like they having a ball, y'all. And so, like I said, as a nonprofit, to turn around and do what they did to help Miss Rose and her family in their time of need, nothing short of amazing. And I wanted to make sure that I lifted that organization up. All right. So I'm going to say this real quick too, since this just seems like a moment for it. Reminding people as you are beginning to age, that you begin to think about this end of life plan, whether it's end of life care. They have insurance that you can purchase in addition to any insurance that you have, so that if you have to have long-term health care needs, somebody in your house, somebody to help with things, you can get insurance for that. That if you are somebody that has done well, and you don't look like you're going to be eligible for Medicaid, that you have a plan. We are experiencing a similar situation in which a family member, because of their resources, they don't qualify for Medicaid and nursing home care because of their needs. $11,000 a month, cash money up front, the first of every month. So the importance of doing what you need to do to become Medicaid eligible, to spend down assets, to move assets, to create a trust for your property so that you can protect everything that you've worked for. But too many people will get to this point in life and all of the stuff that you work for will not be protected. And then, as we are now talking about Miss Rose's situation, the ability to be able to work with a funeral home, they have programs in which you can start paying for your stuff now. Okay? Making a monthly payment and paying for your funeral, because the piece about depending on your insurance company, and that money may not be available right away, but your family still got to figure out how to bury you. Some insurance companies will go ahead and do it if they see that everything is in order. You got the policy, they'll go ahead and start, but other funeral homes will not. And some policies will not do a third party pay and let you No, I'm good. Thank you. And let you, turn that policy over to the insurance company. So this is a good time to remind our community, make sure you got a game plan and you understand exactly what you have and what you don't have, what's covered and what's not covered. Because there will be people that will, like in my godbrother's case, he had insurance. I don't know how the job let him do it. He never named a beneficiary. So the insurance check went to the estate. Family and friends paid for his funeral, even though he had insurance. But there was no beneficiary name. So I'm just going to say it again. This is a great time to just take a moment, review your situation. If you are somebody that has a desire to go home, and home being, back down south, whatever, all of that needs to be built into the plan. All of these are things that you need to think about. So I'm just going to leave that lay, but I think it was important that we seize the moment to be able to talk about that. Okay, so let me do this because I have been trying to get to this subject for a minute and have not done it in its entirety. While I was at the NAACP conference, there were quite a few sessions, both as a part of AXO and the actual convention itself, that centered around artificial intelligence, the use of AI. So many of you by now are becoming more familiar with artificial intelligence. You have these apps on your phone, and are using them to help you write papers, help you, create business plans, help you write stories, all kinds of stuff. People are using it to help them write their book. There are so many uses for AI. It's not even funny. Creating images, graphics, all kinds of stuff. And as I sat at the NAACP conference and I listened to presenter after presenter talk about, this is the next thing. You want to be on it early. You want to make sure you know how to use it. You want to understand, how it is going to be a tool that is going to drive, future business interactions. The one thing that was missing in a lot of in fact, I think in all of the conversations was also the other side of AI. I've said this before. I'm going to continue to sound this alarm because we have an ability as a Black community to pay attention to this early and start being vocal about this early, even though some of the damage is already being done. What am I talking about? Without fail, every time there is a major shift and move in this country towards some new front, some new progress, you will see the Black community usually either bear the brunt of that new frontier, or lose significantly as everybody is clamoring for this new technology, this new thing. Think about the highway interstate system and how most of those interstates were run through the heart of the Black community, and Black folks lost businesses, they lost their homes, they used eminent domain. A lot of these cities did, to just take it and not reimburse these Black people for anything. If they did get any money, it was pennies. Not enough to go rebuild, not enough to, start their business somewhere else. Without fail, the Black community has typically been harmed when you see some of these new advancements come along, either because we're not considered in the research and development, because the dollars are not going to come into our community when those projects, materialize. We typically are an afterthought. AI is no different. AI is no different. And at the convention, I made the reference about AI plants going into the Black community. And so let me give you more specifically an example that I was talking about. Do I need to take a break or am I okay? Okay. So Elon Musk has an AI company, um, and they have already begun to establish this major presence in Memphis, Tennessee. Okay. He has what is called X's AI's supercomputer facility. And the name of this facility is Colossus. It is located in an abandoned factory in Memphis, and it is being developed and designed to power and train Grok, the uh, Twitter's AI chatbot. Okay. So this new program is going to be called Grok. Uh, so they have gone in and already begun to do setup. It was a privately owned property, so they are working with that landowner. I don't know if they bought the land outright, what they're doing, but bypassing a whole bunch of regulatory uh processes and information, they are literally setting up these mega plants that are going to have detrimental impact on the Black community. So let me just give you something that was taken from the Southern Environmental Law Center. And I actually ended up talking to representatives from this law center when I was out at the NAACP convention, or the AXO convention portion. So South Memphis, a community already struggling with the legacy of environmental injustice, industrial pollution, have now had Elon Musk come and put his foot on their proverbial neck. He is running unpermitted. There have been no permits given to run gas turbines that threaten to make air pollution problems even worse in this area. Since breaking ground on the supercomputer facility last year, they've been operating dozens of unpermitted methane gas turbines without public notice, permits, or air pollution controls. So you think about folks talking about what we're going to put over here at the Old Northridge, what we're going to put over here at Midtown, what we're going to put, on King Drive. There are generally, even if they're just cursory, public meetings, ability for the public to comment on what's happening in their communities. This has not happened. In many cases, government officials, elected officials, have been complicit in the damage that's getting ready to be done in Black communities. These turbines emit dangerous chemicals like formaldehyde, smog forming pollution. These pollutants, can help increase the rate of asthma, heart disease, and even some forms of cancer. And so this group, the Southern Environmental Law Center, sent the NAACP a formal notice about what they are seeing and the fact that they sent this formal notice on behalf of the NAACP to Elon Musk that we will see you in federal court about what's being done. And the thing that's so crazy is because of the way the courts have been stacked, and the relationship that the courts have had in terms of proximity to Elon Musk and power and money, that this whole thing is going to be problematic. And I'm going to pull the numbers that talks about how many computers it takes to run an AI plant. While Memphis is dealing with this, and that started last year, Lakeisha and I mentioned this yesterday, were sitting, and Lakeisha said, Michelle, after you got done speaking about this, she looks at her phone and sees that where her parents built their home in South Haven, Tennessee, that Elon Musk has already acquired a plant there, and that folks are going in and starting work and construction, and nobody in the neighborhood knew anything about it. So the thing I keep trying to impart to our community is to understand this. Every time we use AI, and sometimes you can be doing a Google search now, and it'll do an AI search before it even gives you the Google information, or it gives it to you concurrently. Um, we need to understand in the back of our mind that there will be Black children that potentially will be sicker, Black families potentially sicker, because these plants are going into our communities unregulated. We don't understand fully all the damage. We don't know who's doing research to be able to talk about the damage. Remember, when we were talking about putting in cell towers so that everybody who has a cell phone and you love 5G, we all love, and let me put myself in there. Faster internet, yes, thank you, Jesus. So impatient, microwave society. I need faster, 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 faster. But when those cell towers were being brought to the state by the major cellular companies, I talked about then Senator Taylor meeting with the representatives from some of these companies who were here to convince the legislature to allow certain things to go on with these cell towers. And, they were wooing the city of Milwaukee. We will pay you, I think, like $200, some minimal amount of money to attach our cell towers to existing infrastructure in the city. So you got light poles already up, telephone poles already up. We can attach our cell towers to that. When they had gone into suburban communities, they paid these people thousands of dollars per pole. They paid us a few $100s per pole. At least that was the initial proposal. Okay. But what suburban communities began to notice, and these are predominantly white communities, is that there were increased rates of illness among their children where these towers had gone in. And so even though it was all anecdotal and they couldn't do a direct correlation between the towers and what was happening health-wise in their community, they told these cell phone companies, hell no, y'all gonna stop putting this in our neighborhood. Until we have more data and research, y'all gonna stop. Whatever's here, fine. We not adding anything else. So you begin to see a lot of the cellular companies doing an increased effort to put these cell towers in the area. And so Milwaukee gets inundated. I got to go pull the data and see if I can find it to tell me how many systems actually went in. I'll correct that. How many systems went in? But there are environmental risks that people believe are associated with cell towers. So if we got cell towers in our community, we got old housing stock. So we got lead in the water, lead in the paint. We got these companies that have left, but have left all this environmental junk behind in the soil on their property. Businesses, plants that have closed down, all these chemicals have been left behind. And then you talk about, now we're going to add another potential problem in terms of AI plants. For people who have not understood what the phrase environmental justice means and have not thought about it seriously, I am asking you, imploring you to think about this stuff. When I mentioned, a couple of months ago, that whole thing that we do every summer when we talk about, oh, it's about to get hot, folks gonna start acting a fool and start fighting and tearing up. And we always correlate it to summer, believing because more people outside, there's more opportunity for folks to get into it. But one of the things that we also began to see from researchers is that urban communities are typically 10 to 15 degrees hotter than the surrounding areas because there is no green space to absorb some of that heat. So it's concrete, and that heat is bouncing off that concrete and just staying and hovering in the community. And what happens when you hot? You agitated. You're irritated. You ain't in no good mood. We all know when we get hot, the first thing you start doing, some of y'all start cussing. Like, damn, it's hot. You you Debo, you're laughing. You irritated. And so no, that's not all of it. But if you already got a jacked up disposition because you're physically uncomfortable, it's not a stretch for somebody to say something and set it off. It's just not. So a couple people listening, and Dr. Myers, who's parents' home I was talking about, she said the plant is literally down the road from my parents' house. Former Milwaukee Bucks player Todd Day also has his home and others built there too. It's a predominantly black community on the Memphis City line with Horn Lake, Mississippi, the Whitehaven neighborhood. So I said South Haven, it's the Whitehaven neighborhood. And these are more affluent black homeowners, but who still can't protect themselves from what's happening. And the city common council members, everybody quiet and just allowing this stuff to go on. And then Judge Taylor is listening, and she was saying when she was a senator, I argued about that and asked for the opportunity to confirm no health issues would arise. And people were anxious. It was another form of resources, financial resources for the city. People, let's move forward, but not doing the due diligence that they needed to make sure that our communities were not going to be harmed. So and there's so much more I can say. And let me just see if I can find this piece of data real quick. How much water does it take to run? Hang on. Because this was the other part that just blew me away. One of the things that they're doing with these AI data centers is that they need to locate them close to areas that have a significant amount of water. So, on average, data centers can evaporate up to 2.5 gallons of water per kilowatt hour. And there's some more simplistic language about it that I'm going to find for you all. But training an AI model, when they're putting all the data in to be able to train these computers how to be able to respond to your questions, 700,000 liters of water, which is the equivalent of 185,000 gallons of fresh water. So when that water goes through their plant and is recycled back out into the community, what's in that water? What's in that water? So if you are someone who is on the AI, train, plane, pushing it, I need you to have in the background. I need you to say this other part. But understand, right now, there is a concern about the damage that artificial intelligence plants are going to do to Black communities because that's where they're being located. I got to take a break. I'll be right back. Good. All right, family, welcome back to the show. Got a couple of calls on the line. Let me get them in real quick. Hey, caller, what's that? Hello? Yes.
Hey, Michelle, how you doing? Welcome back.
Good morning. Hey, how you doing this morning, George?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for that information. And Michelle, I'm glad you came with that because you're right. Anytime I Google stuff now, and it does help me have a better understanding, especially when I'm trying to do my messages and I'm reading scripture and stuff like that. How it breaks it down. It's a good tool. But you're right. We need to be more informed about that. And I never realized what you said about the towers. There's one right on the corner down the street from my house. Down the street, literally on the at the end of the block, right on 24th and Hopkins. It's a big tower right there that they put in about maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
That's about the time frame.
But one thing I wanted to do for your listening audience, because I got to get out of here. If you did not watch Frontline last night, I would strongly advise. I don't know if you watch Frontline or not, Michelle.
I do.
But I would strongly advise all your listening audience to watch Frontline because this man throws so much at us that I think we forget about all the stuff that he has done and what he's about to do and trying to do. So watch everybody. If you can watch Frontline from last night, I would strongly advise you to watch it.
Thank right. You, Michelle. Will do. Let me just say this real quick. I just got a notification from Cash App that $100 had been sent to me. Let me go back and look real quick. Where is it? And I'm coming to the phone line. Give me 1 sec. But 155. I mean, so it was 100. Where is it? Okay, hang on. Who sent it? Okay, Gail Robinson sent me $100 to give to Miss Rose's family. Shelby sent $25 for me to give to Miss Rose's family. So I'll be making sure that that money is also sent. And JC had sent me $30 yesterday. And so I will get that transferred over this morning as soon as I get off the air. I checked and we were up to $825 on the GoFundMe account. And we just literally cash apped over $350. The donation from Ebony Ice, and then Debo did his own personal donation. And so we just notified the family that $350 had just been forwarded to Cash App while we've been here on the air. So we are definitely well over $1,000 at this point. And I just am so thankful for people that are embracing this, this ask and are doing what they can to help this family. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello.
Hey, 60WNOV, good morning. This is Ray Mackey.
What's up, Ray? How you doing this morning, bruh?
I just want to say something real. Stop the killing, man. Let's chill, man. Hey, and I want to say, if you want to see Ray Mackey's live, I will be performing July 26th at the 2-7 Boys reunion at Washington Park. I'll be there mostly all day. And I'm going to say something real. And I'm going to rap something real. And I'm Ray Mackey's in
Real characters. All kinds of characters.
This is a Keith Ferris moment. I love black people all over the world. It's a Keith Ferris moment. All right, y'all, let me switch gears. I told you I had guests coming in at 8 o'clock as a part of our monthly installment with Milwaukee County, the county executive's commitment to making sure that we are informed and aware of the work that the county is doing, being introduced to different efforts and initiatives, different programs. And I'm going to tell you, it's so funny. And I'm not saying that it was because of this show. But y'all know I clown Milwaukee County Airport every time I go through it. I just do. Now, there are some great things about Milwaukee County Airport. Number one, that it's easy to maneuver, okay? Number two, it's not highly congested, okay? So you go to other airports, you're like, oh, Jesus, you appreciate Milwaukee County. But I raise saying every time I have to use the walking conveyor belt, because one of them don't ever work. Never. And Always the side I'm coming up, it don't work. The side I need to use to go back down, it does not work. So I have talked crazy. Why, when we left for Charlotte this past week or so ago, there was a sign up that said that the moving escalator, walking escalator, was going to be down indefinitely because they said it would take about $12 million to fix it. Now, even though I still was clowning and or slash cursing, that's the kind of stuff that you need to do to be proactive, to keep the community informed. So we're not just talking about y'all real crazy and not understanding the backstory. Now, mind you, I got to North Carolina and theirs was working, so I still had something to say. But it is somebody thinking about, if you're the end user of these services, what should be communicated to people so that people understand what's happening. So I appreciate whoever took the time to put that sign up and explain to users of the airport, this is what's happening. $12 million was a real number. I'm like, excuse you, $12 million to fix an escalator? But, you don't know how long it's been put in, what is required. So it's that kind of thinking, that I think has driven even the conversations that we have here every month with the county. And so this morning is no different. The Milwaukee County Office of Equity, my girl Jacqueline Zeladon over there was able to get in touch with me, let us know that this morning we were going to have the community engagement manager, Ricardo Wynn. What's happening, Mr. Wynn? How you doing? And glad to have you back. Let me say that first. What that t-shirt say? Good things take time. You know what? I hear that. And also we are expecting Rick Banks. He'll join us when he gets in. But first of all, folks that may not understand what you do, tell people what you do with the county in terms of your position.
So as the community engagement manager, my job is to ensure that across the county enterprise, we work with departments and internal and external to ensure that when we're making decisions, that community voices are, that our decisions are informed by community input, ensuring that when we make decisions, when it comes down to the bottom line, we can say we engage community. An example is the McGovern project, right? Our office helped guide the evaluation process. So we participated in the focus groups. We conducted door-to-door outreach, speaking to people actually in the neighborhood who would be impacted. And we also hosted and held other interviews across the county. And so our office took that information and gave the recommendation to say, this is what community is saying, and this is the impact and outcome of that.
Okay, hang on. So we're being told they can't hear him. Okay, so I'm gonna need you to say it again.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Can
they hear me now?
Yeah, so tell people, right. Yeah, we good now.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, Ricardo.
No, that's fine.
Tell them again.
Yeah. So in my role, it is my responsibility to work with people across the county enterprise to ensure when we are making decisions that it is made being informed and helped with the input of community. Okay. So the example I gave was the McGovern Senior Center project.
Right.
So we worked with DAHS. You saw when we were here before when we talked about it last time. Our office role was we did some door-to-door interviews, meaning we went and knocked on people's doors in the neighborhood to get their input about the project, informing them about the project. We aided in hosting focus groups, which was held at the McGovern Senior Center, the current one. And we got input, and we took all that data and compiled it and gave recommendations moving forward on what community was saying.
So let me just ask a quick question in relationship to that project, because we now know that that project, for the most part, looks like it's been scrapped.
Yes.
Not going to move forward. Supervisors, enough of them voted against the project to vote it down.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to go back and pull up the statement that the county executive had released, because I know he had talked about, so whether or not that project moved forward or not, we still have maintenance concerns with that facility.
Yes.
And what is going to be best to serve the residents in there. But since you said you dealt with the community aspect of it, did you have significant folks from the community show up to talk about the project? And what were you guys hearing?
Yeah. So we saw mixed messaging, meaning the people who said yes either didn't show up in those public spaces or
Okay.
they didn't talk, right?
Okay.
For whatever reason,
Right.
right? But what we also recognize is that people who lived in the neighborhood knew that they would be impacted or they had minimal concerns, right?
Okay.
And then you just have the people that just say, no, we don't want this. This is not something that we want, you know? So you saw, you had people who say yes and you had people who said no. Our job wasn't to decide whether or not people should say yes or no. Our job was to gather the information
Right. Just
to
provide
have
the
the
data.
community informed decision making behind them. So, that's good. And, we're supported by the county exec. We work across the county and with many offices to ensure that community engagement is at the forefront. So when decisions are made or when we're speaking to decisions being made, we ensure that community voices is there and present. So that's my role.
And so are there other things and opportunities that the community should be paying attention to for an ability to have input? Because we know that there are all kinds of projects that are happening
Yes.
around us, and we are not going to be the best,
Yeah.
stewards of going religiously checking the websites to
Yeah.
keep up
Yeah.
with what's going on.
Yeah.
So, first of all, are there other things we need to have our eye on?
Yeah.
And if so, how do we pay attention to that?
So, I always say getting on the David Crowley's email list server is the best way to stay engaged.
Okay.
Because when things are happening, things are coming up, they are sent out through that email list serve. I also think that, that's why it's important for us to have this relationship here with the radio station. So when we are having things come up that we can come to you, we can send that information and information can be disseminated. I also encourage people all the time to pay attention to the county board meetings, reviewing the minutes. Those are public announcements. Those are public meetings where people can attend and be informed as well.
So there are some other good things that are going on.
Yes.
I was really taken aback when I saw the Health Equity Champion
Yes,
Awards.
a lot of people are
information.
surprised about that.
So what is that about, and why
Yeah.
was that started?
Yeah. So the Champion Awards was started to really acknowledge people who were making a difference, who are making a difference in Milwaukee County.
In what arenas?
And so we have health and healthcare, economic stability, education, neighborhood and built environment, and social and community context.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have that will be taking place Sunday, September 22nd, 2025. And currently right now we have our applications open for the public to actually submit awards for people to receive and be acknowledged as champions. And so applications close Friday, August 15th. I was going to say July 15th. Application closed Friday, August 15th. You can check out our website for more information. You can even Google it, Milwaukee County Health Equity Champion Awards. I think more than ever, this initiative is important to our political climate in our community to continue to uplift the voices. And, David Crowley, we strive to make Milwaukee the healthiest county in Wisconsin. And part of that is visibility and access to resources. And so by us awarding and acknowledging people, we are also increasing the work that those people are doing as well.
So, one of the things though, when I looked at it and it talked about recognizing people who have shown a commitment to equity by reducing disparities
Yes.
in one or more of these social determinants of health, some people may be a little shaky on the meaning. So
Yeah.
When you talk about reducing disparities, because there are people that may be doing the work, but they wouldn't necessarily classify it that way or understand that it is viewed in that lens.
Yeah.
So can you help people kind of
Yeah.
understand that piece of it? Because I'm telling y'all, some of y'all need to be nominating
Yes.
your organizations,
Yes.
people
Yes.
your own group.
Mhm.
You need to be putting your name in the hat
Yeah.
for this award.
I really think about the grassroots leaders, the initiatives, not just the organizations like Health Connections who do amazing work, who are doing, even through COVID, did vaccination and testing and things and mobile testing. And I think about Safe and Sound, who was a recipient last year as well, the work that they're doing with the losses, with the law enforcement and really changing the lens on how community can be protected.
Okay.
Those are the things that, we're talking about, the people who we want to acknowledge. You have Heal the Hood, those kind of initiatives, Fathers Making Progress, those leaders that are in those positions aren't just leaders, but they are a reflection of our community as well across the county. And so those are things that are important to acknowledge. And if we take the time to acknowledge them and submit, they could be selected. We do a committee. It's a diverse committee who scores the applications. And we have discussions, enriched discussions around the work that people have submitted to really talk, to really understand the influence and impact that we could have through this initiative for our community.
So let me ask this question, because I know, as a part of what we were hoping to speak with Rick about, Milwaukee County, there was a press release that had dropped, and the other day talked about Milwaukee County creating wealth building strategies
Yes.
for local residents.
Mhm.
And when you think about the role of government, while a lot of it is service oriented, you don't necessarily think about it being also progressive or forward looking in, it's not just enough to provide the service. How do we create situations where people don't need these services? Is there a way to put ourselves out of business to some extent in
Yeah.
some of the things that we do? And then we had a situation earlier this morning. The sister looked like she clearly has some mental health.
I heard
You
about
heard
that.
it. Okay.
Yes.
And so the piece about the wealth building strategies for local residents, the city's the CFE fund that the City Start initiative is going to align with Milwaukee County to bring this to the community. Do you know much about that or anything about that?
Yeah. So that's Rick's Bank's project. So I know people can, reach out to him. But what's important about this grant is not just, we know that people need this education, this economic well-being, this wealth building, but that it also aligns with the county's policy agenda, with priorities of health, economic development, and public safety, which are which is the priorities to the county. And so, as you talked about the role of government, it's imperative that we actually let people know that we're here for them and we demonstrate that. And I think a lot of the things that we're going to be learning from this program and the education that's going to go into communities, it is a lot of things that people aren't aware of, right? Or people who might not understand how to even get a home loan. What does that look like? How do you build wealth in your community? What are some of the systemic barriers that go into it? That's something that an everyday person who might not own a home won't know or understand, right?
Right.
And so that education is going to be important. And what better way for that to come, not just from your community and people who reflect, but the people who are supposed to protect and serve, right?
Well, I was blown away. I got to take a quick commercial break, but I was blown away when I saw that this initiative, through the City Start initiative, Milwaukee County will receive intensive technical assistance and a $1 grant of equity for the economic empowerment. And so, we're talking about some money that hopefully will make a real difference.
And it will.
And people, like I tell folks, we've seen people do technical assistance grants for as low as $2,000, $1,000.
Yes.
But the difference it was able to make. So, okay, we'll talk about that on the other side.
All
I'll
right.
also give you an update. Some folks are actually texting me that they have made contributions to this road, our family. So I'll give you an update on that as well. Be right back.
AURN in Washington, I'm Jimmy Jackson. Inflation continues to rise in June with new government data showing prices ticking up for the third straight month. The consumer price index rose 0.3% last month. That follows a 2% increase in April and 1% in May. Over the past year, consumer prices are up 2.7%. Some of the main drivers include the cost of housing, energy, and food. Shelter increased by 0.2% in June, while energy prices jumped 9%. Food costs, which remain a key concern for many families, rose 0.3%. Now, the new data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics underscores how even modest price increases can compound month after month, especially when wages don't keep pace. Many Americans have a return of upward pressure on everyday costs, raises familiar concerns, from rent and gas to groceries and utility bills. For AUR News, I'm Jimmy Jackson.
Here's the forecast. We'll see this kind of rain showers and thunderstorms possible late today. Otherwise, partial sunshine develops with a high in the upper 80s. Winds out of the southwest around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Then 4 tonight, a chance for showers and thunderstorms thunderstorms, cloudy, low near 62. By Thursday, partial sunshine and outside 70 degrees. Friday, mostly sunny skies and high around 74. Saturday, chance for rain and storms, high of 80. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki at AM 860, The Voice.
Back to say
Family, welcome back. I want to take a moment just to acknowledge a couple of other folks that reached out. Deborah Jenkins Simmons hit me up to let me know that she has sent me a Cash App in the amount of $50 that I will transfer over to the family's Cash App. That came through a few minutes ago, and just how much it's appreciated. Somebody else sent me some information. I have to find it, and then a number of people have asked for the Cash App link. So community, thank you so much for everything that you are doing to try to help this young granddaughter be able to make sure that her grandmother, Miss Rose, who was like a community grandmother, is being taken care of. And, I tell people this piece real quick too, and I'll get back to the county conversation. Because there are people that are content to live their life in isolation.
Mm-hmm.
You don't engage with people. And there will be people that will be trying to reach out, trying to be cool, inviting you out to dinner, want to be your friend, and you push people back in a way. But there is nothing more exemplary of the need for connection and community as we are seeing right now in this moment, because this could have gone very, very differently if so many people didn't care about Miss Rose. So I just want to remind people of that. Let me say good morning. We have been joined by Mr. Rick Banks.
Good morning.
Whatever.
Indeed.
Oh man, you just get on my whole nerves.
I'm sorry.
The senior program manager, Rick Banks, with the Office of Equity of Milwaukee County. And look, Rick is like a little brother, so I beat up on him.
Please do. It's one of the mornings I did
and
today.
just handle him real rough. I know the folks at the county are like, does she realize that? Yeah, I know exactly who he is. I don't care. I do not care. How you doing this morning, man?
I'm here. I'm here. It's one of them.
Oh no, you got to come in stronger than that.
I'm here.
Don't
Good
come
morning.
in.
Good
Thank
morning.
you.
Good
Don't
morning.
Come in all mild and meek.
I know you're right. You're right.
I ain't
Got to give y'all the
set
audience that the respect y'all deserve.
That's
I
right.
apologize.
Don't come in here all
Hello.
Open your mouth.
I'm here.
So look, we were talking. We had an opportunity to talk a little bit about the wealth building program concept, the partnership. So we can let you do that.
Okay.
But also one of the things that came up offline, Ricardo was saying, I don't really say it a lot, but some of the things we realize is that people don't always fully understand which branch of government does what.
Yes.
And that became very
so
apparent as you have some of these, community listening sessions.
Mm-hmm.
So two things. Tell people a little bit about this program.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about, with our remaining time, making sure folks fully appreciate what the county actually does.
Okay.
And it's crazy that we still having this moment. But, and I said this real quick, we've done some training with people across every socioeconomic data track.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So from broke to not broke. The level of information was not that different. It's folks that are well-heeled, well-educated, who still could not adequately break down what different levels of government, what their areas of responsibility are.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's talk about your program.
Yeah, so good morning, and thank you, Ricardo, for filling in and providing the information earlier. So about almost a year ago, in November of 2025, our office applied for a City Start Initiative grant with the Cities for Financial Empowerment Fund, and this grant was funded by the Bloomberg Foundation, and they've done several cohorts of this grant with several other city pairs in the past. And what they do is they work with cities to do community engagement, stakeholder engagement, to come up with it's called a financial empowerment blueprint. And in that blueprint is strategies that a municipality, a city, or a county can undertake in order to improve the financial well-being of the people. And so things that have been in these kinds of financial empowerment blueprint are things like removing certain kind of fines and fees that we find have disproportionate impact. Certain programs like childcare programs. Certain cities have done a targeted kind of investment in certain geographies, like a zip code, where they saw that there was a need to do strategic delivery of resources and things like that. Some other things that have come out are investment in affordable housing. And so some of the stuff we've already seen come out of Milwaukee County. And so this is really about creating a synergy around some of the efforts that are already happening, seeing where we can leverage with private and other public partners to increase what we're doing. And so ultimately over the next 18 months, we've already done some stakeholder engagement in terms of talking to some key organizations working around wealth building and financial empowerment. And so we started to gather some data around what the current landscape of the financial landscape of Milwaukee County. And this program also has a focus particularly on bridging like the racial wealth gap. So we're looking at what is the factors that are causing gaps in the wealth between Black folks and white folks, between other racial groups and white folks. And so looking at how we can develop strategies to repair the harm that's done. So one of the things that we're also doing is looking at what has been the actions that Milwaukee County has taken, but also like the cities and municipalities and the state, what the government specifically has done. Like we know about like redlining, we know about like homestead acts and things like that have boosted wealth for certain populations, but blocked it for other folks. And so documenting that, putting that all on the table and seeing how we can work to undo that, but also being realistic about the capacity of the county, recognizing where we're at financially and all these other things that limit our capacity. So how can we develop a blueprint that recognizes all of the history and the work that is to be done, but also is well within our capacity. And so
so it's interesting to have you say that, because one of the first and easiest things, and I think is a great segue for kind of understanding what people, what different levels of government, what they actually are able to do, what's in their capacity, because home ownership. That's the low hanging fruit. When you start talking about wealth disparities, most everyday Americans, the average Americans, their money is tied up. It starts with that first home purchase. And they are able to leverage that home to either send kids to school, get more property, become a landlord, all of those things. And so there will be people like, while the county out here building all these apartments and, affordable housing, why not help people buy a house? Why not take, existing homes and, get them in the hands of people? And that is where the conversation about what the county can and can't do actually, I think, becomes relevant. So what do you say to that, you and Ricardo?
Yeah, so I think there's 2 points. One, the county actually is doing something about that. We don't have much jurisdiction or any around properties within the city of Milwaukee, but properties that are foreclosed in the suburban cities or municipalities are taken over by the county. And so the county does have a program now where we are prioritizing selling these single family homes or duplexes to folks who are, want to move in and become owner occupants. And then the second part is, I said it earlier, which is that a lot of folks are within the city of Milwaukee. And so this county has very limited jurisdiction in certain ways within the city of Milwaukee. That's limited to pretty much like our facilities that we manage, things like the behavioral health services buildings and things like that, the highways and the parks. Otherwise, the county is not taking on abandoned properties in the city of Milwaukee. And so we can't, that's a different jurisdiction. So the city has to take on those issues.
But I guess I'm trying to make sure I understand, because the city of Milwaukee is inside Milwaukee County.
Yes.
So when you say we have certain homes that potentially are on this list of houses that could be, that could be used to help increase home ownership for folks, well, where are those houses based in? Because if it's,
so they would be
what's
in
the line?
This the city line. So Wauwatosa, Bayside, Glendale, West Dallas, those kind of places around the city of Milwaukee. And I believe the cause of that is the city of Milwaukee is large enough that we qualify for a state law called home rule. And so we're the only what's called a first class city in the state of Wisconsin. And so that gives us certain powers of autonomy that other cities and other counties don't have to deal with.
Okay. All right. And so, like I said, that was a great thing. So one of the things when you guys have been doing the listening sessions and just kind of talking to people, and like I said, we've done trainings and we see it too. So for folks that, and you kind of alluded to it just then, but let's just be real clear and succinct. The county does what?
So the county operates the airport, the zoo, the Department of Health and Human Services, which provides a lot of things like child support services, a lot of like mental health care services for folks with disabilities and things like that. What are the other departments? Help me out, Ricardo.
So I always center. So when I talk about this, I center it around. Can they hear me? Because
Yeah, you
okay. We're talking about public health, social services, parks, transportation.
Transit,
So when we say transportation, we're talking about MCTS. I think another big thing that people should be aware of is that the county exec actually is the the opening door to help with the budget preparation. Every year we host budget listening sessions to inform communities on decisions and how dollars will be allocated to those priority areas, being public health, social services, parks, and transportation. And so then we have these departments, and then within that we have the sub areas, like, within DAHS, who was here last time the first time I was here, they deal a lot with the mental health services, aging and disability, those different areas. So when I talk about the county work, I always try to focus on those priority areas to get people to really understand what that looks like. And then depending on who I'm talking to, I may give an example of like food share, mental health services, and things like that.
Okay. So we got a phone call and somebody just texted me, and I think I understand the sentiment given everything they're watching right now with the contract negotiations with MCTS. Somebody said, "Oh yeah, Milwaukee County needs to sell MCTS." And there are a lot of people that even don't understand that relationship.
Yeah.
Because Lena always, Judge Taylor, somebody will be like, the city so-and-so with the buses, and Lena always said those are not city buses.
It's a common thing.
Those are county buses.
Bus.
Those are not city buses.
That's just like when people talk about, so why
county.
we don't do this to houses. I'm like, that's not Milwaukee County. That is the city.
Yeah.
And so even when I was doing a little bit of reading while I was out of town, about how the county first got in the transit business in the first place, that's an interesting backstory in and of itself, that we own it but we don't operate it, right? Because this ain't the moment, but we got to talk about that $10 million budget deficit. And y'all gonna have to send me the right folks to have that conversation. But let me go to the phone line real quick. Hey caller, what's happening?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I kind of heard the conversation about county housing, where what through the sheriff's sale. Is that what you guys were talking about when it comes down to the housing?
Let me get some clarification on that, because it's not necessarily sheriff sales, is it?
I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure. I don't think I don't know. I'm not going to answer.
Well, the houses that you guys have for sale, you do have houses for sale, right?
Yes.
Okay, now is there a scope of work involved like they do the city, or is this just approval on credit, or you just come out and it's a cash buy?
I'm sure it's something similar to the city, but I do not know the details. We could definitely bring Celia Benton, who's our economic developer. I don't operate the program.
You know what? Wait a minute. Don't be handling folks rough.
No,
he was here to talk about something else.
But they can handle it, Michelle. Michelle, they big boys. They can handle it.
I think also
we gonna still be respectful. Don't come up in here trying to handle nobody rough.
I got another question to ask. Who was behind this drone show at the lake this year and got rid of the fireworks? It's the most wokest, craziest.
What do woke have to do with that? What do woke have to do with this fireworks?
That's the county.
But why the word woke? Why the word woke?
Because it's technology drone driven. So guess what?
Oh my God! So to have technology is to be woke.
When you use it in that, look, they done got rid of the big boom. Did you go down there and see the some of that show? It was like the most boring thing. Those drones got nothing. It's like we wasted.
But what they got to do with being woke, though, man?
Okay, let's leave woke alone since you want to.
That's all I'm saying. Leave woke alone.
David Crowley, and whoever else was behind that drone show need some help. Don't ever bring that drone show back. Else I'm getting a petition.
We'll get a petition in. Bye.
We're going to go to the state. You
come on. Bye. Hang up on him.
I also, with that comment, it's a misconception that if you work for the county, you should know all these things about the county. And I think that while that could be a public perception, right? I think it's important for people to understand what the role of Office of Equity is. And, we are an enabling body to the county exec to really address inequities, disparities. And we do that change work through policy practices and like power structures and community engagement. And we're working across the county with other leaders to ensure that these things are implemented. We have our community engagement initiative, our racial equity budgeting tool to help people understand why it's important to have an equitable budget and how you do that. We're doing the wealth building. We're increasing our community engagement efforts. It's just important for people to know what we do because
so you get a little testy
Yeah,
over
I
here.
think that's an important point.
Hey,
But-
bruh,
but
know
that's
what we do.
But that's so important because we have
that's
to
what we
know what
said.
people do.
That's
like,
what
you
we
gotta
said.
know.
But I did pull it up. Milwaukee County sells foreclosed properties, both residential and commercial, through the county's economic development department. The county also handles sheriff sales for properties within the county, but outside of the city of Milwaukee. So to the question about the sheriff sale.
Like
So if you are interested in learning about Milwaukee County foreclosed properties, you can go to the county's economic development department and find out whatever you want to learn about that.
Have you had Celia on the show before?
I think, you know,
the director.
I'm not sure.
We should set that up. She has another program that she's operating now, where they're going to be giving away $10,000 grants to support brick and mortar businesses.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we
Cool.
should definitely connect you with Celia.
All right.
She would know the details because these are her programs.
You know. We got another caller. Let's get them in real quick. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello.
Yes, Michelle.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, I was looking online to see how you can access Milwaukee County housing. Milwaukee County housing, the access to suburbs. For sale, foreclosures, the banks.
Yep.
Is there a way I can access those homes? I can go online. Can you tell me how to do that?
So I just went to Milwaukee County Economic Development Division on there, or just type in Milwaukee County foreclosed properties, and it should take you to the website.
Yeah, I'm here. So I work.
And then I pulled up new listings and it tells you everything that he has. Yep. So I'm looking, yes, ma'am. So yeah, that's all I had to do.
Okay, let me know if you can come by and work. Or something that I can give you some change from this.
Okay, no problem. Yep. Okay. All right. Yep.
Thank
So yep, I'm just one property around here in North Avenue, one property Oak Creek, Avenue, property in that there. All right, fellas. So you guys are gonna get jumped on today, huh? So, Rick, if people want to know about this awards program, what they need to do.
The awards program?
Oh, yeah.
For him.
Yours was the
Yeah.
strap. What do they need to do?
Yeah. So check back on our website. We provide updates to the as well as we have a newsletter coming out. So if you're not signed up for our sign up there. If you are a organization or a stakeholder partner, you want to reach out to us. If you have some interest in data or something like that you want to share, reach out to me. So it's bank@milwaukee.gov. Folks can reach out to me that way.
And nominations.
Know more about that, visit our website. You can also check our Facebook information on there as well, or reach out to our office.
Russ, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate Milwaukee County. No, you got.
That's true. Nobody has it together. I'm on.
You do. You got plenty of information. All right, fam. That's the show for today. Let me thank all of the community members that have taken the time to make a donation to Ms. Rose's. Thank you so much, fam. We appreciate y'all. And to the two brothers. All right, family. I'll talk